Hello everyone. Okay, today I have another comic strip for you. This comic strip is called Jack Silver. Jack Silver. Jack Silver is an alien, this little boy alien here. He doesn't look like a normal alien. He's not green. He doesn't have a big, massive head. And he looks like maybe he has some hair. I don't know if he has hair, maybe not. But he looks quite normal, but he is an alien. He has some special powers. And there are two main characters, Jack Silver and this boy who is called Curly Perkins. Curly Perkins. So here's the intro. Curly Perkins had been whizzed into outer space to the planet Marsuvia, but he was beginning to feel a bit homesick. So Curly Perkins was taken, by Jack Silver, this alien, into space. He was whizzed into space. Whiz means to move very quickly. So, because it sounds like things that move very quickly. So we say Curly Perkins had been whizzed into outer space. So this place where we have planets and stars. Okay, this is space or outer space. To the planet Marsuvia. Marsuvia is the name of the planet where Jack Silver comes. Obviously, we live on Earth. We don't live on Marsuvia. We live on Earth. But Jack Silver is an alien. He doesn't live on Earth. He lives on Marsuvia. But Curly Perkins was beginning to feel a bit homesick. So homesick is how you feel when you've been away from home for a long time and you want to return home. You miss your family. You miss the food that you eat in your country. You miss the cultural behaviors of the people from your country, because where you are is different and it's strange and it's new, and you can't, and after a long time of being in a new place, sometimes you feel a bit homesick. You miss home. So here they are sitting in Jack Silver's rocket ship, his rocket ship or his spaceship. We could call it either a rocket ship or a spaceship. A rocket ship will usually have rocket fuel coming out the end, and here we can see there is rocket fuel creating these flames. Flames that are coming out of the end of the rocket ship. And here, Curly Perkins says, "Thanks for taking me back to Earth for a bit, Jack." And Jack says, "It's only right, Curly, if you're missing the place. It's only right, Curly, if you're missing the place." And so here, Curly is thanking Jack, saying, "Thank you for taking me back home," because he feels a bit homesick. And Jack is saying, "Oh, it's only right, Curly, if you're missing the place." So if you're missing home, it's the right thing to do to take you back home. If you really want to go home, I understand that, and that's fine. And it's the right thing to do to take you back. So here they land. They land back on Earth on the lawn of his mum's house. On the lawn of his mum's house. And Curly says, "Hi, Mum." And Curly's mum says, "Curly, back just in time for the new school term tomorrow." Curly, you're back just in time for the new school term tomorrow. So school is starting tomorrow again. It's a new term because in the year there are 3 terms or semesters. In the UK, we call them terms. In America, they call them semesters, which I know is a bit more similar to probably Spanish and French and Italian as well. So semester might be a little bit easier to remember. But in the UK, we usually call them terms. So a new term at school. So, for example, at the end of at the end of the winter term, you have Christmas, you have the Christmas holiday, and then when the Christmas holiday finishes, you start the new term back at school. Or you then have the Easter holiday in April, and after the Easter holiday, you start the new term, the summer term. Okay. So he's back just in time for the new term at school. So in this case, maybe the new term is starting tomorrow. It's just in time. So it's like the next day or the day after. He's very close. He was very close to missing the new term, or missing the beginning of the new term. So his mum says, "You'd better be looking after my Curly, alien boy. Flying him round in this death trap, I bet you haven't even got a license." Let me read that again. "You'd better be looking after my Curly, alien boy. Flying him around in this death trap, I bet you haven't even got a license." So here the mum is saying to Jack, excuse me, the mum is saying to Jack, "You'd better be looking after my Curly, so you'd better be looking after my boy." And "you'd better" is an informal way to say you should, you must be. If you're not doing it, you will be in trouble. Yeah, you'd better be looking after my Curly, alien boy. Flying him around in this death trap. What's she talking about? A death trap is a way to talk about something that's really dangerous to use, usually a vehicle. So she's saying that this is a death trap. So it's something that's like a vehicle that you're very likely to die in. You usually use it when a vehicle's like in very poor condition, very bad condition. So you're driving a car and it's okay, it sounds like it's in bad condition, and you're likely to have an accident in that vehicle. So you can call it a death trap, because a trap is something that captures you, so you cannot move. It's a death trap, so it's something that you're going to be stuck in and you could die. Now, I don't think it's in poor condition, his spaceship, his rocket ship. However, to a mum, it looks like a very dangerous thing to be in. "I bet you haven't even got a license." So she's saying, I think that you don't even have a license. A license is the card, or sometimes a piece of paper that you need. Okay, a piece of paper that you need to be able to drive a car legally. So to be allowed to drive a car, you need a license. Okay, I have a license. I never drive, but I have a license, so legally I can drive a car. In the UK, you have to be 17 years old. I think it's 17 years old to start driving and to get a license, to get a driving license. So the mum is not very happy with alien boy, Jack Silver. And Jack says, "I do like your garden people, Mrs. P. I do like your little garden people, Mrs. P." And Curly says, "License?" And Curly's mum says, "Oh, the gnomes? Yes, they're... Don't change the subject, big ears." Okay, let me read that again, sorry. "Oh, the gnomes? Yes, they're... Don't change the subject, big ears." So here, Curly says, "License?" Maybe Curly doesn't know what a driving license is. And Jack tries to change the subject. He says, he's coughing. He's coughing because he feels uncomfortable. He's being asked about his license, but maybe he doesn't have a license. So he feels uncomfortable and he's coughing. And he changes the subject. "Oh, I do like your little garden people, Mrs. P." And by little garden people, he means these little ceramic people that sometimes people buy and put in their garden. And they're like little men and little women. Sometimes they have big hats, big red hats, and strange clothes. Maybe sometimes they're doing things like they might be playing an instrument, or they might be digging something. So gnomes are these little ceramic. Ceramic means a material that you can create from stuff from the ground. And they are quite popular in the UK. Quite popular in some people's gardens to buy lots of little gnomes. These little ceramic people, men and women, that they put around the garden to decorate their garden. Of course, he's an alien, so he doesn't come from Earth. He comes from Marsuvia, so he doesn't know what a gnome is. So he doesn't call them gnomes. He calls them little garden people. And she says, "Oh, the gnomes? Yes, they're... Don't change the subject, big ears." So she realizes that suddenly Jack is trying to change the subject. And she says, "I've been worried sick about our Curly. I've been worried sick about our Curly." I've been worried sick. That means I've been really worried. You can say in English that someone is sick with worry. So they're not ill. They're not ill in bed. They're not ill. They're just really worried about something to the point that they feel maybe they have a bad effect. It has a bad effect on their body, maybe. And that's why we say it. But when someone's just really, really worried about something, you can say sick with worry. But it's usually used when you're worried about another person. So, for example, if I'm really worried about my exam, it's not very common to say I'm sick with worry about my exam. But you're usually sick with worry about a person. So if I know that my son or my daughter is out and goes out late at night, and then I don't know where they are, and I try to call them, beep, 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 they don't pick up, then I might be sick with worry, really, really worried about that person. So she says she was sick with worried about Curly. And she says, "Our Curly." This is a feature of usually the north of England, that when you talk about people in your family, you often say "our" and then the next person's name. So for example, it would be my mum could say, "I was sick with worry about our Archie." Or my dad might say, "Where is our Archie?" Okay, so it's another way to say my Archie or something. It's like a more formal use of English that occurs usually in the north of England. You could say that about people in your family. "Are," and then the name of your daughter or son. It's usually for your daughter or son. But in the south of England, we would just say, "I was worried sick about Curly," or "I was worried sick about Archie," or "Where is Archie?" or "What is Archie doing?" Okay. But in the north, "What is our Archie doing?" or "Where is our Archie?" Okay. So let's go down. Oops. Ah. Okay, here we go. What's happening? Right, okay, next part. So, here is the mum, and it says, "Blah, blah, blah, irresponsible, blah, 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 delicate child, blah, 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 bedwetter, blah, blah, blah." So, blah, 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 is what we say when we are not listening to another person, or when someone is talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and we are not interested, then you can say that, "He was just talking and talking, blah, 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 blah." So it's a way to say that you're not interested in what that person is saying. So to Jack and to Curly, all they hear is blah, 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 blah. They don't really hear exactly what the mum is saying. But we hear a few words like irresponsible, delicate child, bedwetter. So I guess here she's saying that it was very irresponsible of Jack to take Curly, or it was very irresponsible of Curly to go with Jack. And if something's irresponsible, it's not a good idea. It's not a clever idea. If you're an irresponsible person, you do things which are not clever. You don't think about them very much, and you don't think about the risks or the dangers of those things. She says, "Delicate child." So I guess here she's saying that that Curly is a delicate child. So Curly is a delicate child means that Curly maybe is easily broken. Something's really delicate, like my cup, my mug. This is my mug. This mug is not very delicate, but if I just drop it or just hit it, on the table and it breaks, then I would say, oh, that was more delicate than I thought. Because something that's delicate breaks very easily. So usually things that are made of glass or ceramics, like the gnomes, they might be delicate. So she's saying that he is a very delicate child, so he needs to be taken care of. Yeah. And finally, we've got bedwetter. Bedwetter is someone who wheezes themselves in bed. Wheeze themselves. So when they sleep in bed, they urinate in bed. They urinate. So she's saying that he's a bedwetter, and that's an example of how he is a delicate child. He's not tough. He's delicate. He wets the bed. He's a bedwetter. And so it's not a good idea for him to go with Jack, this crazy alien, on these crazy, scary adventures. But look, someone is getting into Jack's spaceship, rocket ship. And Jack says, hey! And on the next part, we see, vroom, the spaceship takes off. It takes off. And Jack says, stop! You don't know how to fly that thing. And Jack jumps on to the back of the spaceship and holds on. And Curly says, don't go without me, Jack. And Curly runs after Jack and puts his hand out for Jack to grab his hand. And on the next page, Jack grabs Curly's hand and Curly is flying through the air. And Jack says, I don't think much of your neighborhood, Curly. What does he mean? If you think a lot of something, then you think that it's great. And if you don't think much of something, you don't think it's great. So he's saying, I don't think much of your neighborhood, where you live, Curly. It's not great because someone just stole my spaceship. So it can't be a very good place to live. It's not a great place to live if someone just stole my spaceship. So I don't think much of your neighborhood, Curly. It's full of bad people. Hold on tight. These clowns don't have a clue how to fly this thing. So here we got the expression to hold on tight. To hold on tight. Here, they're on the spaceship. They're on the side of the spaceship. And he has to hold on tight. If you don't hold on tight, then you will let go and you will fall and you might die. So you have to hold on tight. Tight. Okay, if something is tight, it's like that. If something is loose, it's like that. Tight is like that. So hold on tight. Hold on to the spaceship tight. And Jack says, these clowns don't have a clue how to fly this thing. So these clowns, so he's calling the people who have stolen the spaceship, because I guess there are two. We can see one here and we can see the face of another here. So there's more than one. And he's calling them clowns. A clown is a person whose job it is to make children laugh. They often have a red nose and big curly hair that is also a strong colour. Maybe red, maybe green, maybe yellow, maybe blue, maybe lots of colours. And they wear very colourful clothes and they juggle. They throw things in the air. They try and catch them. Okay, they juggle. I cannot juggle. Oh no, what am I doing? Okay, that shows I cannot juggle. Okay, so they juggle things. They tell jokes. Okay, this is a clown. So he's calling them clowns. And that is a way to be offensive, an offensive thing. If you call someone a clown, it's another way to call them an idiot, a stupid person. He is a total clown. He is an idiot. Okay, an idiot is a bit more rude than a clown. A clown, he's such a clown. He's someone that you laugh at. You laugh at that person. He's ridiculous. He's a clown. So he's calling them clowns. And he says that they don't know how to fly this spaceship. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm just going to stop the video for 30 seconds. Here is some information about how you can support me. With just £2 or £5 a month, you can win a free lesson with me. You can win a free 50-minute lesson. Every month you have the opportunity to win a free lesson. Currently, when making this video, I don't have many supporters. So if you do support with just £2 a month, you have a pretty good chance of winning a free lesson. So you can do that by going to my Patreon. If not, if you can't support me monetarily, you can also just like this video, write a comment, and subscribe and tell your friends about it. And that really massively helps me too, so that I can do more YouTube and create more videos for you guys. So thanks very much. Let's get back to the video. Okay, and here is Jack on the side of the spaceship. And here is Curly holding on tight to the spaceship. And Jack says, I need to time this right, but if I can just... And he's trying to reach this switch, and he flicks it open. That's a flick. If you flick something, it goes flick. Okay, he flicks it with his finger and it opens, and he's about to press a button on the inside. But he says he needs to time this right. That means that he doesn't press it at any time. He has to wait for the perfect moment to press the button. Only pressing it at the perfect moment will mean that he is successful. But what is he trying to do? Enter the disable code. Beep, 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 beep. We should come down nicely in this field. And it's flying down the spaceship. Ploof! I don't know how to say that. Ploof, ploof, ploof. Zikes! Field's shorter than I thought. And they go flying through this field, creating a very muddy path. This is mud, a very muddy path behind them. But the field is shorter than he thought, so they're going to go past the field. Here's the fence of the field, and they're going to go right through the fence. What's this? Smaff! And the spaceship goes right through the field onto the road. And Curly says, it's a motorway, and we're on the wrong side of the road. We've had it. So Jack says, what's this? Jack is wondering, what is this place that we're going on to? So we can see that the field goes above the motorway, and the motorway goes underneath. So there's a tunnel under the field where the motorway goes. And Jack says, what's this place? Okay, all these vehicles, these cars, and there's a road. What is this? Because Jack is, of course, an alien, so he has not been to Earth before. This is his first time on Earth. And Curly says, it's a motorway. A motorway is a road where you have maybe six lanes. You have lots and lots of lanes. So there are 3 lanes or 4 lanes going in one direction, and there are 3 lanes or 4 lanes going in the other direction, a motorway. And we're on the wrong side of the road. We've had it. So if you've had it, it means that in this case, it means that they're going to die. We've had it. If you've had it, it's like you've not got any opportunity to live now. We've had it. There's no more chances for you. We've had it. We've failed. Okay, we've had it. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do to fix this situation. We've had it. It's too late. We've had it. And here you can see the 2 robbers, the people who stole the spaceship, the robbers. They took the spaceship and it's not theirs, so they stole it. Okay, they're robbers driving or flying the spaceship, and they also look very scared. Better let me take over the controls, Jack says to the robbers. And the robbers say, yes, I think you'd better. And so Jack climbs into the spaceship and whoosh, he just manages to go in between these 2 lorries. There's a green lorry and a red lorry, and he goes in between these 2 lorries and over this car as well, just over that red car. Oh, he just misses it. He just misses the red car. The red car is going here, and he just misses the red car. Nearly hits the road, goes around, and then goes between the 2 lorries. Phew! And zoom! The spaceship flies back into the air. I don't know what you're fewing for. And he uses some of his magic powers to zip, zap, zip, 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 to zap this rubber. And the rubber flies out of the spaceship to the ground. And this one with the green top, he's wearing a green top, and this one's wearing a purple top. This one with the green top is able to hold on to the branches of the tree. And this one says, "Yipes!" And a bird flies out of the tree at the same time as they try to grab onto the branches. Now, what does Jack say when he says, "I don't know what you're fewing for"? Because when we say few in English, that means that you just escaped a bad situation. So something nearly happened, something really bad nearly happened. Like here, they nearly crashed into a car or into the road, but they didn't. So, phew. So it's very lucky. And he is saying, "I don't know what you're fewing for because you're still in a bad situation. You just stole my spaceship." And he zaps him. He uses his magic power. And here they are back in outer space. They have left the Earth. And Jack says, "I don't know about you, Curly, but between your mum, spaceship thieves, and motorways, I'd rather take my chances with Captain Zap and the Grizzlum Bears on Marsuvia." And Curly says, "Fine, I'm over my homesickness now. Mum mentioning that it's back to school tomorrow soon." Mum mentioning that it's back to... Mum mentioning that it's back to school tomorrow soon sorted that. So in this case, we can see that Jack says that between your mum, spaceship thieves, and motorways, I would prefer to take my chances with Captain Zap and the Grizzlum Bears on Marsuvia. So basically, your mum, spaceship thieves, and motorways. Your mum, spaceship thieves, and motorways were three bad things on Earth. And so Jack says, after those three bad things, I would much prefer to stay in outer space and experience some of the bad things in outer space. Okay, the bad things on Earth were worse, and the bad things in outer space are okay. Captain Zap, I think Captain Zap is a bad guy. I don't know, but I think that Captain Zap is a bad guy, and Grizzlum Bears are also scary bears in this comic strip. They have some special, they're very strong, and they can do a lot of damage. They're very scary. In the last comic strip that I read about Jack Silver, there were some Grizzlum Bears. So he's saying that it's a better situation to be in space. And Curly agrees. Curly says, "Okay, I'm over my homesickness now." So before he was homesick, before he thought, "Oh, I really miss home. I really want to go home." But now he's over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. If you're over something, you don't care about it anymore. I don't care about it. I'm over it. Okay, I'm over it now. I'm over it. I'm not interested. It's fine. I'm not bothered about it. I'm over it. Okay. If you have a problem and you're very sad about that problem, you're always crying, and then one day you just feel better and you say, "I'm over it." Okay. Someone says to you, "How do you feel? Are you still sad?" You say, No, it's fine. I'm over it. I'm over it. It's okay. So if you're over something, you're not affected by it. You're not bothered by it. You're not worried about it anymore. You're over it. So he's over his homesickness. He doesn't want to go home anymore. And Mum mentioning that it's back to school tomorrow soon sorted that. So just because, well, basically Mum said, "Tomorrow you're going back to school." And just hearing those words meant that he didn't want to be home anymore. So I'll just read these two speech bubbles again. "I don't know about you, Curly, but between your mum, spaceship thieves, and motorways, I'd rather take my chances with Captain Zap and the Grizzlum Bears on Marsuvia. Fine, I'm over my homesickness now. Mum mentioning that it's back to school tomorrow soon sorted that." Okay, great. So that is the end of our comic strip, Jack Silver. Now, before we finish, I would please like to ask you to just remember to write a comment below. Let me give you something that you can write to practice. So, how about How about the phrase, hold on tight? Hold on tight. This is a useful phrase and a good phrase that you come across a lot in action movies, superhero things, something where there's a lot of excitement and something scary maybe happening. So when you're holding on tight, you have to hold on to something because there's going to be a lot of movement. Maybe like when you go on a roller coaster. Okay, you go on a roller coaster, you want to hold on tight so you don't feel like you're going to fall. So I would like you to write in the comments, hold on tight, just as a little way to help you remember this phrase so that you can use it in the future. Hold on tight. Okay, everyone, so that's it. Thanks very much. I will see you again soon. Have a lovely day, week, or evening. Bye.